Retrogrades remind us that growth isn't always linear. It is in the review that we find the truth in where we are and how far we've come. And in this idea, I was able to connect it to the cycle of change that we use in therapy. So first, let's talk about a Mercury retrograde, since Mercury is retrograde in Sagittarius right now. So Mercury is the planet of our cognitive abilities, right? So it's about thought and perception and communication. And so when Mercury goes retrograde, those thoughts, our perceptions, our communication take a pause, they take a break, so that way we can review how far we've come in the various things in our life. So therapists have an understanding of the cycle of change when you are in therapy. So there are several different steps that can determine if there's actual progress happening. So the first step in the cycle of change is pre-contemplation. So you might not even know that there's a problem. You have no intention on changing the behavior or the thing or any of that. The second step is contemplation. It is where the person becomes aware that there is an issue or a behavior that needs change. The third step is preparation. This is where the person has buy-in, right? They actively take action or they are preparing to make change to the behavior. So the fourth step is action. So this is when the person actively becomes engaged in modifying that behavior. So the fifth step is maintenance. So this is where the person then maintains or they sustain the change that has actually occurred. The sixth step is very interesting. It's relapse. So in spite of their efforts, this is where the person might experience setbacks or they go back to their default programming. They start doing those old behaviors yet again. Then the seventh and final step is the upward spiral. So this is where the person learns that even though they relapsed, that they have learned things in that relapse that will help them grow even more, propelling the growth. So you have an opportunity to learn from the relapse. With each time you go backwards, you learn something and it pushes you further and further ahead. And the more that we learn from these relapses, they become less devastating and shorter. So now let's tie this back into a Mercury retrograde. Every transit progresses forward. When it goes backwards, we do a relapse so that way we can review behaviors. We can review certain things that have occurred to recognize how far we have come, because it is within that slowing down, we actually learn something that propels us once we move forward. So we do not have to demonize any retrogrades anymore because they're helping us grow.